we see over the years that appears in water. Now, without further ado, let me just uh, share my slide now, okay? All right. Can you see my slide? If you can see my slide, can you please type in the chat, say yes. Can you see my slide? Yes, maybe, no? Okay, yes, huh? Okay, so let's start. Now, let me introduce myself. My name is Pei Han. Me and my family have been involved in water and air purifier industry for over 30 years now in my family. And I have been a trainer for water and air purifier products for an international company for over 10 years now. Because of my position as a trainer, I have a chance to go to every state in Malaysia, as well as Singapore and Brunei, to share my knowledge when it comes to water and air quality. So it was such a privilege to be able to meet people all over the place. And during the COVID time, we cannot have physical training. Therefore, we also conducted a lot of online sessions. And I've recorded multiple online sessions with my company. And the outreach of these videos could be up to hundreds of thousands. So it is a very good experience, right? That I've never experienced before. And this is a recent training that I did to a crowd of 350 people in the hall. Plus, at the same time, it's a hybrid session. Online, there were 1,000 people. So altogether, 1,350 people, about that, plus minus. So these are some of my the things that I've done in the past in creating awareness to people, right? And so that people are more aware of water and air quality around them. But most importantly is I'm also a pengguna I'm also a user. I'm also a user of water and air purifier. And it better be, if I were to invest in a water and air purifier, since me myself is a user, so it better be something that is worthwhile. The water and air quality issue better be bad enough, right, for me to really spend my money and do something about it. So tonight we're going to talk about that. Okay, first, let me ask you a question. Is clean food important? You can answer in the chat if you want. Clean food, is it important? Yes, right? Yeah. What about clean water? Is it important? Yes, for sure. And the third one I want to ask is clean air important? Yes, the answer definitely is yes, right? Now, let me tell you, a person can last 3 weeks, can survive for 3 weeks without food, and can only survive for 3 days without water. But when it comes to air, they probably can only survive for 3 minutes without air. So I ask the question again, which one is more important? Okay, this is a trick question. The correct answer is actually all are important, right? Clean food is important because we consume it daily. Clean water is important because we consume it daily. Clean air is important because we breathe in the clean air, the air daily. So all three are very, very important. Most people will make sure that their food is clean so that they don't get food poisoning. However, not many people are doing something about their water and air. So out of these three categories tonight, we're gonna deep dive into clean water and the water situation in different places. I'm from Malaysia. I'm from KL. So some of the data that I show you will be from Malaysia. But I understand that in tonight's session, there are some friends who are from Singapore as well. So I will quote some of the conditions in Singapore. Okay. Now, why is water very important to us? Because it is 2/3 of our body, about 70% of our body is made of water. So without water, if you're dehydrated, a lot of the functions cannot happen properly. For example, you need to have enough water to prevent formation of kidney stones, prevent cramps, to improve muscle health, regulate body temperature, to have glowing skin. To have glowing skin is not just about good skincare, but also you need to be properly hydrated. Plus, it helps digestion. There's so many people who say they have constipation and all that, and most of the time, it is either lack of fiber in their food or lack of hydration. Okay, so if you think about it, water plays an important role to distribute nutrients all over our body, plus regulate our temperature. If you think about that, then you know that all our bodily function rely heavily on having proper hydration. Now, with proper hydration is not enough. You need to have proper clean water for your hydration. Does that make sense? Because if you drink a lot of water, but if the water is contaminated, it will not help your body as well. So let's come back to the drinking water. Is your drinking water safe, right? Contaminants that commonly appear in the drinking water are lead, pesticide, PFOA, PFOS, pharmaceutical, microplastics, viruses, and cysts, and so on. But how come our water look clear if it contains all this? The reason is because all these contaminants are under the category where you cannot taste the taste, you cannot see the color, right? No color, no taste. So even though water is clear, it may look clear, however, it may consist any of this, right? Now, I understand that, well, Malaysia, I think no need to say, Malaysia's water is have a lot of room for improvement, okay? However, water supply in Singapore, as from what I understand, is considered world-class, right? It's the benchmark of the world, put it this way. However, I managed to find a few scenarios where even in Singapore, you probably want to watch out, to do something to make sure that your water quality is always ensured, is always protected, okay? Now, this is in Malaysia, right? Every time when there's a river pollution or water or raw water pollution, you will see that there's a closure of water filtration plant. Now, the question is if, right, if the water filtration plant really can filter these contaminants, why does it need to shut down when there's contamination in the river? It is supposed to filter these contaminants, but how come when, you know, the contaminants present in the water, then they have to shut down the water filtration plant? This gives us a good reason to ask, is our water filtration plant really can filter all the available contaminants out there? In Malaysia, definitely not the case, okay? Because our water filtration plant, many of them are using outdated technology, and they may not be equipped with the facilities to treat certain types of contaminants, okay? Now, this is a water collection point. Actually, this is a river in Klang Valley area. And then this down the river is a water collection point of one of the water filtration plant in Malaysia. You can imagine before the water collection point, what they do is they put up a net to filter out, to capture all the rubbish that are floating on the river. So yes, physical rubbish, probably you can block it a little bit. However, contaminants that leak into the water, that leaks into the water and follows the water into the filtration plant, that might pose a risk, okay? Such is the water condition in Malaysia. Now, this is probably true for both Malaysia and Singapore. And because I often ask my friends or my clients or my customers or my students, when was the last time you washed your water tank in your house? And for example, for those who have hot and cold water, hot water tank in their house, when was the last time you washed it? Probably never. When was the last time you changed the piping in your house, within your house? Probably never, until something leaks, right? So if over a long period of time, if you don't change it, this is probably what you see, okay, in the household. So if we assume that the water, once it comes out from the water filtration plant, is clean, let's just assume that, okay? It's not necessarily the case, but let's just assume that. However, before it reaches our home, it has to go through many different places. Therefore, it is better because you don't know what will happen in between, right? Therefore, for most people, right, in order to maintain their drinking water quality, they will install something, a water purifier, at the end point, right? Right before they collect the water, they will install a water purifier. We call it the point of use water purifier. So right before you take, you make sure you filter first so that it doesn't go through any other medium. Then you can drink straight away. That is the way to ensure the water quality. Okay? All right, let's go. In Malaysia, because Malaysia is quite boleh, the water tank, not only that it can be contaminated, it can be trespassed as well. In the past, I happened in KL before, where people drink the water and feel that there's a strange taste. Then after a while, then only they found out that actually somebody drowned in the water tank in the in the condo, right? Drowned in the water tank in the condo, and it's only after they tasted something that something strange that they go and find out. Then only they found the dead body in the water tank. Now, for those who live in landed property, they will think that, okay lah, I don't have water tank, but mine is a direct pipeline that comes straight to the house. However, in Malaysia, in any area, you will find a water tank that supplies water to that particular area. And normally these water tank area, if you want to trespass, you want to go in and have an adventure or to check it out, nobody will stop you. So it has happened before also, where they found a dead body in the neighborhood water tank, right? And that person that was found in that water tank had been missing for 8 months. I don't know how long has he been soaking in that water tank. Probably also 8 months, right? And I heard that something like this, a dead body found in water tank, also happened in Singapore before, in HDB, I think. That was back in 2011 in Woodlands, right? In Woodlands. So it is not like it will never happen, right? Even though fantastic water quality, but sometimes man-made problems is hard to avoid, okay? And this is some of the news cuttings that I find in Singapore, right? This is just last year, November last year. They found that there is a chemical compound, traces of chemical compound that found in the tap water in Singapore. Okay, now so this is a compound called DPG. DPG. It's a byproduct of chlorine, right? Which is a disinfectant that they use for water. So while Singapore's water treatment regimen removes any DPG leaching into the catchment, the scientists believe it could be leaking into tap water post-treatment when it comes into contact with rubber parts in plumbing and reacts with chlorine in the water. That is another proof that shows that after the water treatment plant, maybe everything is fantastic. However, the medium that the water passes through before it reaches our tap, there are many things that we cannot control, okay? So it can happen, secondary contamination. Plus, another case that happened in year 2020, okay? This is also happening in Singapore, where they take water from the tap and then they smell the pandan smell. Smells very nice. The tap water got pandan smell. Okay, after they boil the tap water. It turns out that this pandan smell came from a chemical called THF, tetrahydrofuran. Okay, tetrahydrofuran. Now, the interesting part is screening technologies at present. This is part of the news paper, the news, right? I just highlight for you to see. Screening technologies at present do not allow for the detection of trace amounts of the organic compound, tetrahydrofuran, which is responsible for the pandan-like odor, said PUB on Facebook. So what does that tell us? I give you a concept, yeah? 20 years ago, do you think there are more contaminants or today? Obviously today, right? Because there are more and more contaminants today. 20 years later, there will be more and more types of contaminants, new types of contaminants, new age contaminants, right? So a lot of the detection measure that are put in place by PUB, by Shabas, which is in Klang Valley, all these waterworks may require update from time to time. And typically they can only do that when incidents happen. Okay, when incidents happen. So you really want something that can block out all these new age contaminants before they became a serious threat. Because even as advanced as Singapore, there will be contaminants that slip through their hands. Okay. Now, PUB subsequently said that this issue was traced to water imported from Malaysia. Okay. Now, water in Singapore may be fantastic. However, one of the bigger problems is that Singapore get a lot of their raw water from Malaysia, and Malaysia is very boleh. Okay. So these are the things that's why I'm telling you that problems that happens in Malaysia, it can go to Singapore as well. It can also happen to Singapore. So don't take your clean water for granted. Okay. Now, same thing. If you look at this, you will see that the headline says Singapore water supply disrupted by ammonia, right? By ammonia pollution in Johor River. So whenever Johor River has pollution, Singapore will again stop its water treatment plant. You have to ask the question, why do they stop? Okay. Plus, when they stop is when they detected pollution, correct? But do they detect the water quality 24/7 every day, 24 hours at every minute? Probably not. Probably not. So when they detected it, they can stop. However, at the times when they don't detect, then that will be the loophole where the polluted water did pass through the system. Okay. Now, in Malaysia, the tangki condition is pretty bad lah. If you look at this on the left, in this video, you will see that the inside, it's the water tank inside is pretty scary, pretty bad. And on the right is even worse because it's exposed, it's open, and some creature decide to take a shower in it. Okay. Now, what about so to know whether your water quality is okay or not, in Malaysia, it's very simple. In Singapore, you probably can do the same thing, is to open up the cap, the end cap of your faucet, and then just poke your finger in. You probably will discover a lot of interesting ingredients or colors. Okay. Now, this is the water cap, the end cap of the water faucet in my house. Okay, in my house. And my condo that I live in actually have a external water filter, two huge water filter that filters all the water that comes into the condo. However, because in between, the water still go through many different media, different places, and it's very difficult to make sure that the water is still clean as it enters our household. So you can see something like this. So try it out. Open up the end cap of your water tap. Most probably, you will see something like this as well. Okay. So this is magnified tap water. I magnified 30 times. You can see a lot of things are floating on your left. On the right is actually after filtration from a water purifier. Okay. You can see that there's nothing left. That means these are real, true contaminants that's present in the water. Okay. Now, having said all this, today I want to introduce to you 3 new categories of contaminants that are becoming more and more prominent, right? More and more a threat. Number 1 is microplastics. Okay. And microplastics present in our drinking water or tap water is not a new news anymore. We have been talking about this since 2017 or 2016, many years ago. Okay. Now, what are microplastics? You know, the plastic products that you use, for example, mineral water bottle. Okay. If you throw it away, it will take about 450 years for it to completely disappear. Now, the now in between, what will happen? The structure of the bottle will weaken and become more fragile, and then it will break into small pieces. If it becomes small enough, smaller than 5 millimeters, then it fits the definition of microplastics. Okay, microplastics also can come from your skincare that has microbeads. It can come from your clothes. Especially when you do sports, they are stretchable clothes, easy to dry with synthetic fiber. All these are contributors to microplastics in the environment. So what happens is that it goes to the environment, the microplastics, it will follow the water source, and then sooner or later it will come back to our household. Okay. So the scary part about microplastics is that as it enters our body, it gives us something called the endocrine disrupting chemicals. What it does is it confuses our hormonal system. It can cause infertility. It can cause high blood pressure. It can cause many, many, many issues, because with a confused hormonal system, your bodily function cannot function properly. Okay, that's why you see probably around you, you have friends who are like that, right? Every night also do overtime. It means work very hard making babies. However, they go for many, many years, they cannot conceive. Go for medical checkup and all that, everything looks normal. However, just cannot conceive. Now, if that is the case, there's a good chance that probably the water or air or things or the environment is polluted. Okay. One of the bigger important thing that microplastic bring is also erectile dysfunction. Okay, what they found is of 5 human that has erectile dysfunction, as they dissect their penis, they found that 4 out of 5 men, they found traces of microplastic in their sex organ. Okay, and also mass our blood pressure and so on. So what about the condition in Malaysia? In Malaysia, they have done several studies in Malaysia where they just collect water from tap and then just go and test, see whether there's any microplastic or not. So based on these 2 studies, one happened in Perak, one happened in Terengganu, what they found is all water samples that they collected consist of microplastics. Okay, so in Malaysia is bad. And don't forget, water source in Singapore, a big chunk of it comes from Malaysia as well. So Singapore can be under the same threat as well. Okay. Now, what about bottled water? I know in Malaysia, many people also drink bottled water, and in Singapore, also many people drink bottled water. Actually, in fact, I think the per capita spending on bottled water, Singapore is one of the top in the world. Okay, and this is what happens. The survey that they did in Malaysia, what they did was they go and look for 8 major bottled water brands in Malaysia, and they check the water sample. They found that all 8 different brands all consist of microplastics. Okay, so same thing in the world. This is a research that was done a few years ago. They actually go and check 259 different samples of bottled water all over the world. And they found that 93% of these samples consist of microplastics. Okay, so I think Singapore also probably cannot avoid this issue because the microplastic is not from water filtration plant. It actually comes from the bottle and the cap itself. Okay, now Singapore ranked number 6 globally, right, in bottled water market. That means you consume a lot of bottled water. Okay, now in Malaysia, on average, in every month, a regular Malaysian consumes 15 grams of microplastic. That is equivalent to 15 plastic spoons that you use when you eat the packet nasi lemak or packet economic rice, okay, or chicken rice. So 15 of them is pretty scary. And I think if you add up from various different sources, no country can immune to this, right? No country can avoid this. What you can do is just try to minimize the exposure to microplastics. One of them is to try to minimize your water source. Okay. Number 2, the second contaminants that I want to highlight to all of you is pharmaceutical, that means medicine, in your drinking water. Hey, how come got medicine, right? Many people, after they go and see the doctor, they don't finish their medicine. What they do is they just throw it away. When you throw it away, it goes to the nature. As it starts to melt, it will follow the water and go to the groundwater, go back to the river, and come back to our water supply. Another thing is if you consume the medication, your body probably don't absorb it 100%. And when you go to the toilet, some of it is being released through your waste, your toilet waste, and then again it goes back to the nature, it goes to the water, and then it will come back and haunt us. Plus, there are many farms in Malaysia, I don't know in Singapore, but there are many farms in Malaysia where they feed the animals things like antibiotics, hormones, and so on. So this again plays an important role also. It creates a significant presence of pharmaceutical in the nature, and then sooner or later it will come back to us as well. And for anyone in a house that has young children, young children, when they have fever, what do you give to them? Probably paracetamol in liquid form, right? People who cough, they will take the cough mixture also in liquid form. After you take from the little cup, what do? You wash under the tap and rinse it away. So all these traces of medicine will again follow the sink, follow the drainage system, go back to nature, and sooner or later it will find its way to come back and haunt us. So this is a survey that was done in Putrajaya in Malaysia. And again, what they do is just simply collect water from tap and then just go and check whether there's any presence of pharmaceutical or not. What they found is all the samples that they collected from water samples in Putrajaya, they find traces of pharmaceuticals. Okay, although the traces of pharmaceutical, each and every one of them is within the safety limit. However, the presence of many different types of pharmaceutical, albeit within the safety limit. However, a cocktail of different types of pharmaceutical, as if you consume it over a long period of time, you will not know. Nobody will know what is the long-term effect, right? Okay, so what kind of medicine? Blood pressure medication, right? Including hormones, including killer, including birth control medication. That's why you see many people for no reason, everything looks normal, however, cannot conceive, including cocaine. Next time you drink water, you feel high already. And insecticide, antibiotics, and so on and so forth. Okay. From many of our sessions, we already know that probiotics and gut health is very, very, very important to our health. However, if you're drinking, water supply that consists of antibiotics that kills away our probiotics, then we're back to square one, right? Then it's not a very good thing for our body. So people in the future, there's a comic strip that says people in the future, if you fall sick, you go and see doctor. Doctor will just give you a prescription saying, okay, fever, never mind, go home, drink tap water 3 times a day. Then you're cured. Because why? Because medicine present in tap water. So that is something that is not very good. Okay. Now, long-term exposure of pharmaceutical, these are only some of the known effects: skin and eye irritation, dizziness, nausea, headache, cardiovascular risk, and so on. However, I want to stress that the cocktail effect of many different types of medication present at the same time, nobody knows the long-term effect. Nobody knows. So logically speaking, you don't want it to be present at all. Okay? I hope it makes sense to you. Now, the third category of new upcoming contaminants is called PFAS. This is a chemical that people often use in packaging, in non-stick cookware, in fire retardant foam, and so on and so forth. Anything that need to be water resistant, heat resistant, and oil resistant, chances are we'll be using some of the chemical that's under the category of PFAS. Okay. Now, PFAS is a category of chemical that consists of over 4,700 types of chemicals. Okay, and in the scientific community call PFAS the forever chemical because as it presents in our environment, it's very difficult for it to deteriorate, to biodegrade. It takes about 8 years for it from 100% to reduce to 50%. So if it's an 8 years time frame, right, it can go in and out of our household for many, many times already. Okay, so that's why it's called the forever chemical. And as long as your country are using any of the products that we say here, that we listed down here, chances are things like this is present in your environment. Okay, now before I tell you about the condition in Malaysia, it was found that in the Singapore environment, the Singapore's waters, actually you can find the presence of PFAS already. Okay, plus many of the water in Malaysia also consists of this lah. If you get water from Malaysia, then you also kena. Okay, now the condition in Malaysia is actually pretty bad. Back in 2004, over 20 years ago, they already found the traces of PFAS related chemicals in blood samples of Malaysians. In the year 2008, they actually found traces of PFAS in the breast milk samples of people, of mothers in Penang. And the concentration of these PFAS related chemical is 6 to 17 times higher than safety limit. So we always think that we want to give the best to our children, give them breast milk, fantastic liquid gold, they call it. However, if the mother's environment is polluted, chances are you might be providing a polluted food and things to the babies as well. That's why nowadays it's very important for us to make sure we minimize the pollution around us, because when we were young, maybe the pollution is not so bad yet. However, the babies nowadays, since they were in the womb, they were in the placenta, they are already being attacked, being threatened by these, they are already exposed by these different types of contaminants. And back in 2012, they found that, which is the river that supplied to over 80% of drinking water in Klang Valley area in Malaysia. In a water sample, they found it consists of PFOA, which is again PFAS related chemical that is 300 times higher than the safety level, plus PFOS 2,000 times higher than safety level. So it is pretty bad, and it is right at our doorstep. And on this diagram, if the solid black line that you see are the confirmed issues that PFAS will bring to us. The dotted line that you see are the suspected issues that the PFAS may bring to us, because they don't have enough data, they don't have enough research to support, but they suspected that it will bring these problems to us as well. So it is a pretty scary chemical. Okay. Now, so what are the solutions to this? Just now we talked about microplastics, pharmaceuticals, we talk about PFAS, we talk about all the other contaminants, pandan smell, all the strange smell and colors in your drinking water. Now, the solution that I normally advocate is that to install a water purifier. And allow me like 5-10 minutes to talk briefly about the water purifier that I carry. After that, I will compare it to other brands, right, for you. Now, I don't know about you, what are the, maybe I ask a simple question. What is the brand that comes to your mind, right? What is the brand that comes to your mind when we talk about water purifier? Because we need to do something to make sure that our water quality is good. So the best approach really is to install water purifier. Now, what are the famous brands in the market that you hear that comes to your mind? Maybe you can type in a chat. I'm familiar with some of the most of the brands in Malaysia and some of the brands in Singapore as well. So as I go through my presentation, we'll go through them one by one, right? And the brand that I represent is called eSpring. And this brand has been in the market for over 40 years. It came out since 1984. So we are the pioneer of the pioneer. In the 1984, you probably don't see many water purifiers in the market. Plus, this is the world #1 selling, eSpring is the world #1 selling brand of water purifier in the world. Okay, so whatever brands that you see, they may claim that they're #1 in Korea, #1 in Japan, or whatever. But world #1 belong to Eastspring. Okay. Now, so how to compare between different brands in the market? Okay. The way to compare is through certification. The sad thing is that there's no way for us to compare, to gauge whether the brand is good or bad, because at least in Malaysia, because Malaysia is quite boleh, a lot of the information that you see on the brochure, right, on the brochure and on their website, you probably cannot believe 100% until and unless it is certified by a third-party independent body. Okay, when it comes to water purifier, what you want to refer to is NSF and WQA, Water Quality Association. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to check this certification to compare the different brands in the market. Okay, now first let's talk about NSF. What is NSF? NSF is a non-profit organization, and one of its main role is to help World Health Organization to set the water quality standards all over the world. Okay, one of its main role. And another sub role that it does is to certify the water purifiers in the market, to make sure that whatever that they claim is true and it's verified by NSF. Okay, so at least in Malaysian market, I don't know about Singapore, but at least in Malaysian market, any brand that say they can do this and that and this and that and this and that, without the backing of third-party independent body certification such as NSF, then you probably should only believe them 50%. Okay, until and unless it's certified, then only you can believe them 100%. Okay, now WQA is another body that helps to certify water purifier as well. Now WQA is an association, right? For the people who are involved in water industry. For example, today if I manufacture water dispenser, I pay a fee, I can join Water Quality Association as a member. Today, if I'm a water purifier producer, I pay a fee, I can join as a member. Okay, so if you have Water Quality Association logo with the word member, it doesn't mean much because you're just a member. However, the product that comes with a gold seal, such as this, right? That means you're recognized by your peers that the unit that you carry can do a job, can perform well. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. So in the Eastspring brand of a water purifier, managed to get 4 different categories of NSF certification from NSF and WQA. Okay, including 42, 53, 55, and 401. Each of them represents certain different types of contaminants. Okay, different types of contaminants. For example, microplastics, right? Microplastics is under standard 401. For example, pharmaceutical is under standard 401. For example, PFAS is under standard 53 and so on and so forth. So depending on the category of contaminants, it is distributed, it is listed under different categories. So that means you do need all 4 of these certification to make sure that you can filter all the above mentioned contaminants. Okay, so another key point of the Eastspring water purifier is that it is the most certified household water purifier in the world. Through the 4 certifications that it gets from NSF, it is the most certified household water purifier in the world. So if you like, you can print screen this page where I show you 2 QR codes. These 2 QR codes will lead you to NSF and WQA's website for you to search for certified products. Okay, so today, if let's say you're interested to find out about brand AVC, then you go to this page, you just key in AVC under the name, under brand name or under manufacturer. Then if they are certified by NSF, then you'll be able to find the listing. If they're certified at WQA, then you'll be able to find the listing. Okay, so I will quickly go through some of the common brands in Malaysia to do proper comparison. Okay, so just so that we are not so blunt, we don't say the other brand's name straight away. I have do some minor modification of the name. So if you know, you know. Okay, if you don't know, then never mind, because is probably not very prominent in your area. So number one is SK Magician. Okay, I call it SK Magician. So for those who know, will know what brand is this. This is. So if you go to NSF website, you look for SK Magician, this particular brand, you will not find any listing. That means it's not certified by NSF. And if you go to WQA again, you find no results. That means it is not certified by a third-party independent body. Therefore, whatever that it says on its brochure, on its website, you take it at face value. You don't believe it 100% yet because it's not verified by a third party. Now, the second brand that I'm going to list here, I think they have presence in both Singapore and Malaysia, right? And if you look at the certification, you will find that, you can find NSF 42, right? However, they only have NSF 42 certification. They don't have what we listed just now, 53, 55, and 401, which means they have no microplastic certification. They have no bacteria and virus certification. They have no pharmaceutical certification. They have no PFAS certification. The things that we talked about just now, this particular brand will not be able to do the job and filter them. Okay, now, if you go to WQA, check for its listing, you will not be able to find its listing. That means it only have NSF, it doesn't have WQA. The third brand, let's talk about this, Cowway, right? If you know, you know lah, huh? Cowway. If you go to NSF, you will be able to find its listing. However, if you read into the details, you'll find that it only receives component certification. What does that mean? Only its filtering membrane has certification. The whole is not on the whole machine. So I give you an example, an analogy. Today, if I tell you my car is certified to be safe, then you find out that only the 4 wheels are certified to be safe. All the other parts are not certified. Do you think it is still safe? You have to ask that question, okay? So it also, again, not only that this particular brand under NSF is only component certified, the certification only covers conforms to material requirements. What does that mean? It means this certification, according to NSF, this particular brand, its filter will not contaminate the water. That means its filter will not poison the water. That means the water going through its filter will not come out more polluted than before it going in. But it doesn't say at all what it can filter. And that is a big concern, right? Now, if you go into WQA, you will find that, okay, this brand now have some good certification, not bad, it's pretty good, okay? However, if you look closely into the certification that they get, you will find that in Malaysia, this particular brand has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, has 9 different models in the market. They're offering 9 different models in Malaysian market. And from the certification, you'll find out that actually 3 of those 9 models are not certified at all. Okay? Even if you can find the listing on this third-party independent body website, it doesn't mean that all their models are certified. Actually, 3 out of 6 are not certified. But at least got 6 is not bad, right? If you look into the details, then only you find that all these 6 models are only certified for 500 to 600 liters of water usage. That means anything beyond that, you cannot guarantee already the quality. 500 or 600 liter, that means every day, if you use 10 liters, you only use for 2 months. Okay. Plus, this their system can have no bacteria and virus certification, also have no PFAS certification. So if no bacteria and virus certification, once when the water come out from this unit, can you still drink it? You have to ask that question, you know. Okay. Actually, there is a category under WQA and NSF. There's one category called NSF Protocol P231. That's a different category whereby it certifies that this unit can filter bacteria and virus. Okay, certify that it can filter. Now, for eSpring to handle bacteria and virus, it's covered under UV light. So the UV light uses NSF 55 to certify that it can disinfect the water. However, if your unit doesn't come with UV light, then you need NSF P231. Okay, you can still bacteria and virus, however, only those without reservoir. That means those that the units that come without water tank, that doesn't have water tank, only can get the certification to filter bacteria and virus. All the models that are that available in Malaysia all comes with water tank. Therefore, they cannot get the certification. Okay. Now another brand. You can find quite a number of good certification on NSF. Again, 42, 53, 401, all you can find. However, is its only certification for its ice maker. There's no certification for this brand for its water purifier. So again, it is not proven. Okay, under Water Quality Association, again, you can find some certification, but only certified for 700 over liters. Again, no bacteria and virus certification, no PFAS certification. And another brand, this is a very famous alkaline water brand in Malaysia. Okay, alkaline water brand. If you look at NSF, it has no NSF certification. If you look at WQA, again, only 42, no other categories, no microplastic, no bacterial virus, no pharmaceutical, no PFAS. So today, if you were to consider a water purifier to safeguard your household, your loved ones at home, so that they are free from possible water contaminants that are present in the water, you need to make sure that it has certification for microplastics, bacterial virus, pharmaceutical, PFAS, and so on and so forth that we talked about just now. Okay. Now, this is one of the brands that is famous in Singapore, I heard, right? Of course, I've changed the spelling a little bit. Another famous Singapore brand is called this, right? The third famous Singapore brand, I also changed the spelling a little bit. And very easy, one-page summary. For all these three brands, you don't have NSF, don't have WQA. Okay, that means all the performance claim that they talk about is all self-proclaimed performance. It's not verified by a third-party independent body. So whether it's trustworthy or not, you have to make the call. You have to ask the question, if your unit can perform, why don't you send to WQA and NSF for certification? Now, let's come back to eSpring, which is a brand that we talked about just now. If you look at NSF certification, you'll find all four categories, 42, 53, 55, 401. That includes everything that we talk about, pharmaceutical, microplastics, including PFAS, including bacteria and virus disinfection. Okay? So plus the certification that it gets is a full system certification. That means not only the filtering media, the whole machine and every part of the machine are also certified, including the tubing, including the faucet. And plus, it is certified for all the markets that it's present in. For example, in Malaysia, the model in Malaysia may be slightly different from the model in Singapore, might be slightly different from the model in Hong Kong, might be slightly different from the model in China, slightly different from the model in Taiwan, and so on and so forth. All the markets, all the different variations, all are certified by NSF. Plus, it is certified for 5,000 liters, which is a very good volume, amount of water, enough for you, 1 year usage. In WQA, again, it's the same thing. Full system certification for all markets and 5,000 liters. It's not like 600, 500, or 700 liters of like other brands. Okay. Now, what are the technologies in the filter? Now, the first is the E3 carbon filter in eSpring that effectively reduce over 170 different types of contaminants, including microplastic, PFAS, lead, mercury, pharmaceuticals, pesticide, herbicides, and so on and so forth. Okay. Plus, the UVC LED technology that comes with it disinfects the water. It can kill 99.9999% of bacteria, deactivate 99.99% of virus, and also kills 99.9% of cysts. And because of that, the water that comes out straight from this unit, you can drink straight away. Okay. This performance claim is certified by NSF 55. Okay. which certifies the UV light in the machine. Now, plus, not only it removes the bad things, it actually retains the beneficial minerals like calcium, magnesium, and fluoride, which is very, very important to human health. Okay. Plus, it comes with a tracking system. They call it the RFID tag in its filter cartridge. Whenever it's time for it to change, right? After you use up 5,000 liter or 1 year, whichever comes first, it will have beeping sound and inform you when it's the time to change. You don't need to keep track of your timing, your date, or whatever, right? It will auto detect. And any new cartridge that you put in, the machine can read again and know that this is a new cartridge. If you put in a used cartridge, the machine can read and tell you that this is a used cartridge. With this RFID tag, you have two major advantages. Number one is that your people cannot sell to you counterfeit cartridge. Okay, number one. Number two is people cannot sell to you used cartridge as well. So you have double and triple layer of protection. Plus, this unit is very versatile. It can match to any type of setup, furniture, color in your household. It will still look very good. Okay, and it comes with apps that can help you to track the status of your water purifier. And no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have access to internet, you'll be able to track the status, the well-being of your water purifier at home. This is especially useful if you're installing something for your loved one, for example, elderly. They are not very tech savvy. They don't know how to keep track of the water purifier at home. You can track remotely. Very, very useful. Okay. Now, there are other brands, but all brands always claim that they are the best, right? How do you know which one to choose? There's so many different technologies in the market. For example, RO la, alkaline la, oxygen la. How do I tell what are the pros and cons of these technologies? Let me tell you. RO water. RO water, the good thing about it is it's super clean, right? It's super clean. Now, the drawback of it is too clean. And what happens is it even removes away the beneficial minerals in the water, and you don't want to be drinking empty water because the minerals in the drinking water is very crucial to our well-being and health. Okay. Plus, in the long run, it may not be an effective barrier in removing bacteria and viruses. That's why of some of the brands that we showed just now, even though they are RO system, they don't get certification for bacteria and virus removal. Okay, and many RO system also waste water. Normally, if you produce 1 liter of drinking water, it may need to backwash and drain up to 4 liters of tap water of water just to clear out the filtering membrane. Okay, it wastes a lot of water. Now, we know that if you remove calcium and magnesium in the water, it will increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. And long-term consumption of RO water is not recommended for children. Actually, for adults also, not recommended. Okay. Now, the most important piece of evidence that shows you RO water is not the way to go is a report by WHO that's entitled Health Risks from Drinking Demineralized Water. What it says is, even though the water is not a major source of calcium and magnesium from your diet, however, the health contribution, the health significance of these mineral from drinking water is very, very important to our health. Okay, they have over 50 years of information that tells us that any area in the world, if the water that you drink is rich in mineral, the death rate, morbidity rate of cardiovascular disease will decrease. If the water that you drink is very, very low in mineral content, the death rate of cardiovascular disease will increase. They have over 50 years of data that shows that. So this is very, very important. And this is coming from WHO, World Health Organization, right? And so even medical authorities, they do not advise people to drink RO water in the for long term. Okay. Next, we talk about alkaline water or any system that claim that they have curative effects. For example, people say hydrogen water, you drink very good. It gives you free antioxidant. For example, my water is rich in oxygen. After you drink, you have a lot of energy and all that stuff. Any water that claims that once you drink, you become super healthy, cure sickness and all that. Number one, what you want to see is typically this kind of alkaline water unit, they only tell you about benefit of alkaline water. They don't tell you the benefit of clean water. And as a result, they actually don't put a lot of effort in making sure that the water that comes out from it is clean. So today I give you a concept. If you drink, let's say you take water from the drain, from the longkang, and you put some soap inside. Soap is actually alkaline in nature. Then the water becomes alkaline water. Okay? And do you dare to drink? We don't dare to drink, right? Because even though it's alkaline, it is dirty. So we shouldn't be drinking it. So this concept tells us that alkaline or not is one matter, clean or not is a totally different matter. Before we consider whether it has any curative effect, any health effects or not, we need to make sure that it is clean. Because even though it's alkaline, if the water is dirty, if you drink it, it will still be bad for our health, right? So make sure that the water is clean, all right? And many people like to claim alkaline water have curative effect, like can cure disease, use it to wash your wound, it will be very good and all that. Actually, back in 2016 in Malaysia itself, they already taken action about these kind of claims. They say that this kind of claims, right, is actually illegal. Illegal, it's not legal. Okay? And most importantly is that people may believe in these claims and postpone their treatment, especially people with poor health. And whenever it comes to alkaline water, those who suffer from cancer is actually more vulnerable, right? And please do not believe in claims of alkaline water, okay? And because in Malaysia, even in Malaysia, they already tell you that it is not a trustworthy claim, okay? And if you look at any of the user manual of any alkaline water system in the market, you'll find this section. It's called warning, warning section. And what does it say? Please take the following precaution while drinking K water. Do not take medication with K water. Do not drink K water if you have kidney problems. If you experience discomfort, please discontinue and consult with your physician. If you're under the care of a physician, that means if you're sick, do not drink K water. Do not drink K water with baby formula or baby foods. A lot of these warning signs. Okay? No matter what brand you use, you look at the user manual, you'll find warning signs. That means it is a water that you have to drink with a lot of caution, you know. Drink very cautiously. So it can be quite scary. It can be quite scary. Because all we're looking for is just drinking water. But if you tell me kidney got problem, cannot drink. If I'm sick, I cannot drink. If I'm weak, I cannot drink. Baby cannot drink, and this cannot drink, that cannot drink. Then it makes you wonder. It's actually pretty scary. And no matter you believe or not, the claim of alkalinity in your body has been proven to be wrong. The person, this guy is called Robert O. Young. He is the guy who propagate, who disseminate, who go and promote the concept of alkalinity in your body. Okay, and a few years ago, he was charged by the US government for practicing medicine without a proper medical license. So a person without medical license telling people that, hey, it's good to drink alkaline water, it's good to eat alkaline food, and people believe it until today. Even though this person has been charged, has been put to jail, has been fined more than 100 million US dollars. Why? Because people believe in him, they postpone their treatment. And because of that, people died due to postponement of treatment. Okay. So if you look back at the guideline of World Health Organization, WHO actually tells us that we need to monitor the pH level. That means the acidity or alkalinity of your water supply. but only for one reason. It's because of corrosion. Because if the water is too acidic, it will corrode your pipeline. The last line over here, it says no health-based guideline value has been proposed for pH. That means there's no best pH value for your health. There's no established, the most healthy pH level for drinking water, put it this way. Okay, so again, make sure that it is clean. Anything else, don't worry about it. Okay, now what about hot and cold water? There are some people who want convenience and they always ask whether the water purifier has hot or cold water or not. But I want to bring you back to the main purpose of you having a water purifier is that you want clean water. That's the first and foremost. Okay, and hot and cold water chamber has its problem. Number one is because if you use it for a long time, there may be contamination in the water chamber. Okay, over here you can see very clearly. This is a water purifier, hot water and normal water chamber. The hot water chamber, you can see some rust, sign of rust there. And then the normal room water temperature chamber, later you will see some dirt. You can see that you can actually sign your name inside that chamber. It is pretty scary, the stuff that can build up. It is not surprising because if you consider the water filter can do its work, that means it can filter chlorine. Water without chlorine in two separate chambers over a long period of time, what will happen? A lot of things will grow inside, right? And some brands in the market, the water chamber is not airtight, and that will invite a totally different types of problems. You may find pests present in the water itself, even though it's supposed to be clean water storage tank. When they open it up, you take a look. Do you see it? Take a look what is present there. Okay, when they open it up, just take a look inside the clean water chamber. What do you see? A lot of stuff, and plus a huge cockroach there. Okay, and this is something that can happen even in Singapore because it really depends on your environment, right? And plus, if you're hot and cold water, when during water outage, accidents might happen lah. Okay. So having said that, towards the end, I again would like to urge you is that water quality is very important, and it makes sense for each and every one of us, no matter where you are, to have a water purifier at the point of use. It means as a final guideline, as a final defense line of defense to filter away any contaminants that might present in the water before you drink it. Okay, and if you want to find a useful water purifier, you want to find a water purifier with NSF and WQA certification, and it is certified to be able to filter organic contaminants, inorganic contaminants, bacteria and viruses, pharmaceutical, microplastics, PFAS, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this month, if you're interested to find out more about our eSpring water purifier, please contact the person that invite you here. And this month we have a fantastic promotion whereby if you purchase, if you trade in your ex-brand water purifier or old eSpring, your old eSpring, just need to send in the serial number. You can get a $200 off, right? If you buy the water purifier plus a new cartridge, right? What you get is a free installation plus $200 off. Or if you don't need the free installation, what you get is a $100 voucher that you can get further discount on, plus a $200 off. If you only purchase a new eSpring without the extra cartridge, you can get $120 off plus free installation, or $120 off plus an additional $100 coupon where you can get further discount on. This is a fantastic promotion in Singapore. Plus our unit eSpring is designed for at least 10 years of usage, because even after the company stop producing it, they will still support after sales service plus spare parts for another 10 years, guaranteed. So once you buy, you can use for at least 10 years. Plus, the contact point is only one. So whoever that invited you here, for the next 10 years, whatever issue that you have with your water purifier, you want to change filter, you want to service, you have questions to ask, you want to know how to use it, how to operate, and so on and so forth, all only need to call one person, and it's someone that you can trust. Okay? So today, using a good water purifier really is for peace of mind, right? A water purifier might be a significant investment. However, nothing can compare to the kidney of your body. If your house have 4 people, that means having an external kidney will help to protect the 4 pairs of kidney you have at home. So if you consider that, then you know that a good water purifier is a worthwhile investment. And find some brand that is well certified by third-party independent body, so that you can have peace of mind for both you and your family. So with that, I end my sharing. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any question, we can take maybe 1 or 2 questions, and after that, we shall end the session. Any question?
Yes, does anyone have any session for Pei-Han since he's with us tonight? Just ask if you have any question at all.
Okay, no question. Very good. With that, thank you very much for your attention. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.